Thank you for joining me. I'm Cynthia Greer, spiritualist who works at the in-depth level of the soul. If you are a new viewer, I cover all aspects of spiritual growth and development in order to help you really see the different levels of consciousness that you go through as you proceed in your soul's evolution on this earthly journey. And this is why I go to the depths of everything, which is often very uncomfortable and it is triggering. But if it does trigger you and you get angry over what I have to say, all that means is that you are just not ready for the message at this point in time. Because I do bring through only the divine truth in love, wisdom, and understanding. And to create and maintain this channel, I have done so without any help or monetization. And it is the same with all of my publishing. I am someone who does the work of 5 people. So if you enjoy what I do, if you find it's helpful, please like, subscribe, share, and press the notification buttons as well, as it will help get this information out to others and bring you more insight, because normally the channel wouldn't be shown to the mainstream due to the politics of YouTube and the dishonesty and manipulation in this era of digital manipulation that we are all trekking through at this time. So if you are well-worn on your spiritual journey and you are working for the light of God that never fails, I know that you have experienced a lot of trials dealing with deceit, dishonesty, and deception. And so I'm going to get on with it, because this is what twin flames in the year of 2026 who are in separation are going to really get a grip on if they have chosen to evolve at a soul level, which means they are willing to fully release their twin flame and everything that they have believed up to this point, that connection is all about. Because if you are truly on the path of soul evolution and you truly believe that this connection is divine, that you are a part of the same energy source, and that God did indeed create you for a divine reason, then you are going to be able to fully place your connection in God's divine energetic hands and seek the growth that is going to reflect your highest good on every level of your life. And this is a challenge when you are certain about your twin flame connection, because you were created to be together. And if you are in embodiment at the same time on a physical level, and you have had that divine meeting where there was an opportunity for the two of you to come together and to grow and to even create a life on a physical level through a true divine physical marriage. All of that was for the purpose of the two of you taking the earthly path together, no matter how difficult and challenging that is. And as I have said before, I know plenty of twin flames in union right now that have chosen the path of a physical marriage, a physical commitment, and they are well worn. And every one of them is fully aware of why they are in the partnership on this earth. And when they come up against the challenges that can be very brutal at times, that can be financially threatening, especially if they are raising children or they have elderly parents, yet they persevere because they have that divine faith in the Creator. But if you're watching this video and you didn't get that, and you have sat for many years, or perhaps in 2025, 2024, maybe from 2018 beyond, coming up into that, you found out who your twin is, and you went through the cosmic rip and all of the stages that we go through. You might want to watch my videos on the twin flame 5 stages of grief, because that really explains what you do go through on an emotional level. It was really tough. Well, all of this had to do with the 9-year cycle that we were in numerically on this planet, as well as the birth force number that you were in every year. So it's a great idea to check out numerology if you are not familiar with it, and take a look at where you were pathwise when you found out about your divine connection and where you are now. Now, planetarily, we have gone into a 1 year for 2026. So what this means is that you are forging ahead on your twin flame path solo, without being in a union, and you are coming to terms with what you have to accomplish in this year at a soul level. Now, I'm going to cover a number of aspects with this, because with the people that I work with that are truly ceasing on a close level, that are very much aware of soul development. Some of them are married to other partners. Some of them have twin flames who have passed on, and others are in connections where the twin flame has a severe drug addiction or mental illness. And I'm going to tell you right now, there are those twin flames who are in a twin flame connection where they are also cheating on their marital partner and having a full-blown sexual and emotional relationship with their twin flame. As crazy as that sounds, it is going on. So I come from a place of non-judgment. I just get to the meat and potatoes of everything. So I'm going to start there. If you are fully aware and your twin is fully aware, okay, this is not for people having random affairs. I want to make this clear, because in the cases that I have worked with, both parties are absolutely aware that this is twin flame, and they cannot cut communication. It's just not in their heart to do it. And they want that physical bond of being together, so they are sleeping together on the side. And normally in these cases, one is single and one is married. It's very rare that I have ever met twin flame couples who were married and they were both involved. But in situations where a financially taxing, messy divorce that perhaps involved not smaller children, but grown children, and a lot of control coming from those children. And I have 2 cases of this right now where twin flame is completely under wraps and nobody knows about it. Okay, if this is your story in 2026 and you don't feel that there is a way out of it, what this is at a soul level. It is a test of taking a look at the choices that you have made, really looking at them on an honest level and assessing why the need to satisfy others is so important to you, and why the need to appear to be in a solid marital liaison, presenting a picture to your community and to your friendships and family is so important when they're not living your life. That is the question. Why do you feel that you have to appease others. And why do you feel that you have to sacrifice your connection in order to live on this earth plane? Because this is taking an incredible amount of energy from you. It is robbing you of your peace. It is robbing you of your physical energy, because sneaking around is a scattering of energy. Anytime you're doing something on the sly is pulling energy. So there is something that is missing in another area of your life. There is a rend in both of your auras, and the energy is going outer. And it may show up in a health situation because you're not taking care of your physical body the way you should be taking care of it. It's definitely going to show up on mental and emotional levels, because your thoughts are always on edge of when you're going to see your twin, when you are going to have that physical connection, when you are going to be together, because that bond is so strong and you love each other so much and you can't stay away from each other, even though that is a good thing. And that is the divine love you share. You have to remember you are in physical earthly bodies. So in the 1 year, you're going to be facing really what you've lived in for all these years and all this time. And the fact that that cycle really ended a long time ago, but you just didn't have the courage to do it. Because if you are physically with your twin, then you are not giving equal attention to your partner. And in many of these cases, you have it going two ways. You've got one who knows on a subconscious level that they're not the one, that there's something deeply wrong, but they hold on. And I find this in a lot of organized religion, twin flame connections, where they just can't do it because of their church and their community and their reputation. But that tug of war and that force, that energy of trying to make something fit that just ended long ago, is still a no-win situation. So you're going to be faced with that. And you're going to be faced, if you are the single one, of where you are at in a home environment that, even though you may be comfortable on a financial level, you may have planned very well for your future, it doesn't feel like a home, because you know that if you were together, because you are together part of the time, what that would involve. So both of you are going to be forced in the 1 year, which is a year of reflection, because you are looking at what you created in that 9-year cycle about the choices and where they have led you up to this point. Now, if you are a twin flame in separation who has lost your twin through a physical death, you are really going to come to the terms of why their soul had to exit when it did, and that to know God wasn't cheating you, God wasn't punishing you, that it was because their soul simply could go no further on the earth plane in order to achieve what it needed to do at a soul level. So if you're looking at a terminal illness, such as an incurable disease, that was very painful and heartbreaking. The twin flame knew on a higher level of consciousness, and maybe even expressed this to you, that all was in divine order, because they had come here to experience this on a very angelic level, and maybe even for the education of others, to awaken them at a higher level. Because I've always believed, having been in a coma myself, having gone through stage 3 cancer and then a bone disease on top of it, which was brought on by the cancer treatments, that these things happen in our lives because there is some form of truth that is supposed to come out through this, that is going to awaken not only the patient, but every single person around them, including the medical staff. And so that happened, and trust and know that your twin is where they need to be. In the cases of severe addiction and behavior that is abusive and cruel, that vibration of energy had to go as we entered into the Aquarian age and got further into it, because it's not serving a higher purpose. And so in order to get it together, their soul has got to go to the appropriate level in order to prepare for another physical embodiment and learn what they didn't learn in this timeline. Okay, so the third is, if you are both in physical embodiment, and if one has chosen to cut all contact with you, either through staying in a marriage to someone else, or because they are an addict, or they are just not aware at all, period, of the connection, and they don't want anything to do with you. So all three of those, in many ways, do fall into the same category, because a lot of times twins who are involved in other relationships, they do fall in love with someone else. They do believe that individual is the mate for life, is the soulmate. And when the connection is that cloaked, there is nothing that you can do about that except grow upward and onward at a soul level. And if they do know, if they have gone into the denial and they're blocking you because they don't want to be tempted, that too is for your growth. So in 2026, it's all about consciousness. Remember this. It's about really understanding the level of consciousness that you and your twin are at. And that the era now, in the 1 year, is all about putting aside any childish behavior, the residual of the results of that, any manipulation, any willful force of trying to make something happen that is not meant to happen because the level of consciousness for it to happen is not there. And it is coming to that acceptance and coming out of the willful temper tantrums that happen in the growth stages when we are triggered with anger and resentment because we are not hearing what we want to hear from a practitioner. We are not reaping the results of sending all this love to our twin in hopes that they're going to just gravitate back to us. None of that works anyway if it's not meant to be. And divine love is divine love. You give it freely with a willing, open heart. And if you are doing that, then the fact that your twin flame isn't responding to you on a physical level is not going to matter a wang. Because when you are in that energy of divine love and soul evolution, you have opened already to the light of God that never fails. You are being shown a specific direction in life, a specific path that you are to take that is far beyond all of the energy that comes with ruminating in sadness and depression over the life that you never got with your twin, that he is or she is possibly sharing with someone else and getting all the good stuff, all the sex, all the babies, the comfortable home, whatever it is that you didn't get. In a 1 year, God is showing you, if and only if you open up to that divine energy, that your heart's desires for a productive life, a full life, surrounded in an environment, living in an environment where you are respected, is there for you. And it is a possibility. But the key is, in order to attract that to you, you have to respect yourself. You have to come out of the lower energy. And what is the lower energy? The lower energy is the discord. It's the dense energy of manipulation and control and anger and depression. And said it before, I'll say it again. Depression is anger turned inward. And so when you are going into clarity, maybe taking therapy from a wonderful therapist that can really meet your needs, or if you are adept enough and further along on your path to where you know how to work things out, you've come to the heart source in deep meditation, and you know that God is over all. You know already that you have to just throw your faith and your trust into God. Everything that comes your way miraculously starts resolving because you are being given the information in what you need to do to resolve it with the help of the angels and ascended masters, instead of remaining in that stage of victimhood, which so often happens in twin flame connections. So, the final is when you've realized that both you and your twin have a really high destiny to fulfill. And there are those on this plane of existence who are teachers at the level of mastery that realize that they must make a full ascension in order to become everything they can be, and that it is not necessary for them to return to this earth. And they have lovingly released their twin, who has many earthly experiences to learn because of the level of consciousness they're at, will choose 100% soul's growth, 100% evolution, and will eventually end up guiding their twin from the other side upon their physical death, after they have become reoriented to the spirit world, or through the embodiments that their twin will take in future lifetimes. And this is a great honor for both of you, because there are those on this earth who have already realized that they do have a twin flame, but they're not in a physical body. And one woman that I know realized this when she was in her early 20s. She was extremely highly evolved. And she knew that her entire purpose for being on this earth was soul evolution and to walk the spiritual path, and she did just that. And in her 60s is continuing to do it to this day. And that energy, that twin flame energy, the older that she gets, comes closer into her own I am presence, her highest form of self, and expresses through the physical body. So separation is not the end of the world. The 1 year is all about coming to terms with this. It's going to be big time about education if you choose to pursue it. If you choose to pursue growth, this is going to be an incredible time to do it. But my warning to all of this is if you haven't worked through the control issue and you want a partner, which is normal to want a partner in the physical body, God created us to have them, but many twin flames who have not worked through their issues of control will try to force a relationship with someone else. They'll hit the dating apps. They'll do whatever they can to meet someone. They will be constantly looking. Could this be the one? Could this be the one? Could this be the one? That one's energy matches mine. And then there's always this big letdown. I call it when the energy goes clunk, okay? And nothing happens. And then all of the anger and all of the resentment and all of the bitterness and all of the depression that was experienced on the twin flame journey comes out to the front. It surfaces, it boils, it bubbles up. And that is because that was not resolved, that was not fully learned on the twin flame journey. So you have to be realistic in looking at whether or not you have processed it in the past, because Band-Aids don't work. Wounds always fester. They always bubble up and come back up to the surface. So if you are going to put it out there that you want a full relationship that is going to be a working partnership where you're going to create a home and a life and have a real committed physical relationship, that's going to be about really getting to know someone, taking it slow, taking it easy, and not coming off with gangbusters, just bulldozing into it. Because imbalanced spiritual people that haven't attained their highest level can become so intense that they are dogmatic and they don't take into consideration the level that other people are at, and they try to make demands that are unrealistic. And one that I see is in spiritual beliefs that correlate with physical dietary beliefs. And whenever you try to force your way of doing something on another individual, and you try to force them to eat what doesn't agree with their body, what isn't nourishing to them for whatever it is their needs are, and you're coming from a place of judgment, that's going to be a no-win situation. And also putting restrictions out on the universe, making this big list of, oh, this person has to be this and this and this and this and this, because you may not really understand the reason God put you together in the first place. So, to give you an example, I knew one woman who was a strict vegan. She was as strict as they could come. And God presented her with a beautiful man who was a meat eater. And she chose the path of non-judgment and preparing his meals with love, the best cuts of meat, and preparing his lunches the night before so that he would just reach in the fridge and grab his lunch and put it in his cooler and go off. He was a blue-collar worker. And the love that was between them was incredible. And she was allowed to pursue her work. He totally supported her in it. And there was love in that home. And it was grounded and centered. So that's what you really want to create if you are honest with yourself and if you have worked through your issues. Because remember, we have a long way to go. We're at the beginning of a new 9-year cycle. So anything that is not addressed, that is not looked at honestly and with integrity, there's going to be a repeat performance. And we do have a choice. We can stay in the anger, the resentment, all the bitterness of what we never got, or we can move forward and create the life that God really intended for us to have. And I can honestly tell you that you don't have to be in a union with your twin flame to create that life, as long as you see the light and are willing to fully step into it and accept the divine path of a twin flame working on a solo level for the highest good. So I'm going to leave you with that. I'm sending you tons of love and many blessings in the new year. Blessed be.